So hello everybody, all the attendees participating in this live webinar or workshop or just introduction session to what we're going to present. So as a title, I've put it to dive into the world of cybersecurity. So my name is Lyubomir Tulev, and I'm going to talk about cybersecurity. Something together with the blockchain and all the other topics which already have been discovered and covered this morning. It's really something trendy, something what everybody talks about, and something what we really see all around the world and all around us nowadays. And if you just think about this, a couple of years ago, I mean, there was a massive push behind this demand of cybersecurity professionals. Saying the demand, I can be even more accurate. According to the last statistics of Cisco from the previous month, they estimate for 2021, actually the demand, the gaps in cybersecurity professionals around the globe to be over 3.5 million of people. So you can imagine how big really demand of cybersecurity professionals are needed around the globe. And it's quite obvious. Hacking activities are happening every day in all the countries around the world, and different companies from small to medium to enterprise size of companies. You know, this famous phrase that there are two companies in the world. One which knows actually that they have been hacked, and the others who still doesn't know. So it means that everybody is risking really their information and cybersecurity if you do not take the proper cautious measures and just to protect your organization. So the demand of cybersecurity professionals, and if you put guys on efforts toward for certifying in this field, I do estimate that you have very big opportunities in front of you. So a couple of words about me and myself. I have over 11 years so far in the field of cybersecurity and information security. I started my career back in 2010 when I graduated our Bulgarian National Police Academy. I've been the best cadet in the class there. And that's why I have been promoted to start working for the National Cybercrime Division. And where I've spent actually 7 years working for the National Cybercrime Department, which actually gave me a lot of opportunities for working in terms of cybercrime investigations, not just on a state level, which I have been the coordinator of, but also with an international partners like Europol, like Interpol, like FBI. There is no country here in Europe which I haven't been able to collaborate and work on a mutual project, on a mutual cybercrime investigation. Even though we had a lot of projects like this. I have been promoted back in 2015 and joined the International Task Force members of FBI. So basically, which means that I have been recognized by FBI by one of the 10 most proactive law enforcement officers in the world dealing with cybercrime investigations, which really it's a great opportunity and gave me the opportunity to actually to work with such international partners, which really widen your world and your overview about the cybercrime and information security from the public side perspective. But then, you know, just exploring the new fields, I've decided to move to the private companies, where I have spent 3 years, almost 3 years in one of the companies here. And now I'm part of another one of the biggest companies, integrators, as Nikolai has mentioned. It's called Bopros, where I'm a chief cybersecurity architect and business information security consultant. So why I'm saying this as my background as a law enforcement is now in the private sector is because actually this gives me really an overview that I can talk and I can train, because I'm a certified trainer, you guys from the both perspectives, being from the law enforcement perspective and also having now the opportunity to be in the private field. And just because I've mentioned that I'm a trainer, I do provide trainings within the New Horizons of Bulgaria, trainings like CISO, which is the program of a certified chief information security officer, the ECSS, EC Council certified security analyst, the CH, most probably one of the most recognized certificates out there on the market, which stands for certified ethical hacker, the CHFI, certified hacking forensic investigator, as well as the EC Council certified security specialists. And this one, CEI, is the certified EC Council instructor, which basically means that I'm an instructor and I can provide those trainings. So we do provide those trainings with New Horizons Bulgaria, and also I do deliver sometimes specialized trainings for still the colleagues from Interpol, Europol, and the FBI. And I'm also a member of ECT Bulgaria, as well as the EC Council officially trainer. But let's not talk about me and jump into the real case and the topic of the next couple of minutes. So I'm gonna present you the EC Council Certified Security Specialist. And we have identified, together with Nikolai and all the other colleagues from New Horizons Bulgaria, which are involved in this project, as a suitable, the most applicable certificate and training program for you guys. And the reason is very obvious. This is the only one program of EC Council which basically can give you the opportunity to get idea and to get knowledge on 3 different fields. So EC Council Certified Security Specialist is a program which actually can give you the opportunity to be aware of information security concepts, computer forensics, as well as network security. Because I'm a trainer and I do communicate with a lot of students of mine, and they usually start, asking me, okay, Lubo, but how can we start our career in cybersecurity and information security? Should I become first a network engineer or security engineer? Or if I'm a developer, can I jump in to be a cybersecurity specialist? And that's the real clue. That's really the starting point. If you don't have any idea, if you don't have any practice, any experience in this field, this is really the course which can provide you with the knowledge with the 3 different aspects of information in cybersecurity. Because when we talk about information security, what we care about is to provide the 3 main concepts of information security: the confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We're going to talk about this for those of you who attend the course and who want to join me. So we will need to provide this protection of these 3 elements of information security, and it has to be multi-layered. We call it multi-layered defense, just because bypassing and compromising one of these elements can easily compromise the data, the information assets which we want to protect. So information security is the one side of the coin. On the other side, let's for example, imagine that, for instance, an incident has happened and we need to investigate this incident. So that's why this is the process of computer forensics or network forensics. So this is the post-mortem part of the investigation, where we investigate who has done what and what were the vulnerabilities and the exploits the hacker has utilized actually to jump and to get into our system. And this course is also including this field of the project of the opportunity of cybersecurity professionals. So we have the protection of information, which is the information security engineer. Then we have cyber and computer forensic investigator. And last but not last is actually the network security engineer. Because information security doesn't mean for sure that you understand the network. Actually, in many cases, and I have been able to talk with many colleagues, what they mention is basically they say, hey, due to the fact I'm an information security specialist, actually, I don't really know and how to make networking and how to make forwarding and all the other stuff. So what I'm trying to say is that this course really combines, and that's why we have identified it as the most appropriate for you, for people who are starting their career in this field, because this will give you an overview, very fundamental concepts about all of these three elements: information security, computer forensics, as well as network security. So this will provide you with a solid fundamental knowledge, and will give you really this holistic overview, which I have mentioned, to have a perspective for investigations, which I can provide you because of my law enforcement background, as well as the information network security, which I can now provide you being from the private sector. So what is a target audience? And let's see if you can fit in. The target audience is estimated for everybody who is eager to gain knowledge about those three elements: information security, network security, and computer forensics. And let's make it clear, it's a totally entry level. So no really obligations for having a previous experience or knowledge. Of course, if you have such, it will be considered as a plus and as an advantage for you, just to understand much better and fastly the concepts, the fundamental concepts. But it's not something which should stop you. So if you are looking for investment in a career in the field of information and cybersecurity, definitely your appropriate target audience. The course duration, it's estimated in 5 days, 5 business days, or 15 hours as total. And the certification itself, I have a special slide for the exam where we're going to talk furthermore details about the exam. But basically, the examination process consists of passing an online exam through the platform of AC Council, which is the vendor of this certificate. So just summarizing again about what is this training and this course about, it really facilitates you and your entry into the world of information security, providing you with understanding about these three concepts about information security, network security, and computer forensics. And really can provide you best practices to improve organizational security posture if you work for your company or if you are hired to provide this service for an external companies. So really this can enhance your skills as a security specialist and increase your employability. And we're going to talk especially about the future developments after graduating this certificate. So what you're going to learn if you join this training, you're going to learn the key issues about all these three elements which you already have covered, the fundamentals of the different network and various components of the network, like the OSI model and TCP/IP model, a variety of network protocols, how do they operate, how they do communicate, as well as the three elements of information security will be explained in details: the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, the multi-layered defense, and on the top of this, also the identity and access management concept, which covers identification, authentication, authorization, and auditing. We're going to talk about encryption, and we're going to talk about the public key infrastructure, the two different types of cryptography, about the symmetric and asymmetric cryptography. We're going to also talk about the fundamentals of intrusion detection systems and how we can bypass, so the evasion techniques of intrusion detection systems. We're also going to touch on the intrusion prevention systems, and talking about intrusion detection systems and other fundamental security component of our infrastructure are also the firewalls. So we're gonna really spend a lot of time talking about the concepts of firewalls and how do they operate, the three types of firewalls: the bastion host, the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, as well as the multi-layered, multi-state firewalls. We're gonna talk about the NATing, about the VPNs, honeypots. You're gonna understand what is honeypots, And something which is really trendy, quite popular amongst a lot of attackers around the world, is so-called the social engineering. And by the way, let me open a bracket here just to mention that according to statistics of the FBI for the last year, guess what? All of the hacking activities, all the hacking intrusions which has happened in the United States for the last year, 88% out of there has started some kind of social engineering attack vector. So the attackers are spending much more time exploring the vulnerability of the users, of the employees of these companies, and directly attacking them instead of attacking, although very well protected infrastructure. And this is quite obvious, because if you are a company which really takes care of their cyber and information security, it means that you most probably have protected it on the various levels. But unfortunately, the employees are still the weakest point of security chain. And that's why hackers are spending a lot of time and efforts exactly targeting the people. So this process is called social engineering. And if you join me at this training, I'm gonna show you a variety of ways how you can execute social engineering, including even bypassing the two-factor authentication of Facebook, for instance. Yeah, it's not rocket science. You know, it's really funny when I talk to some of the professionals and they say, well, if I implement a two-factor authentication, I'm 100% sure. Well, not really, because there is a tool, there is a way how you can actually capture not just the username, the password, the credentials, but you can actually capture even this one-time pass, which is sent by the Facebook, and hijack the entire session of the user in the Facebook profile. So basically, no matter if you are protected with a two-factor authentication, you can still get insight and hack this profile. Of course, everything what I'm gonna show during this training will be only for testing and educational purposes only, guys. So I've mentioned a lot of hacking terminologies, and that's what we're gonna make in this training. We're gonna talk about the different stages of hacking cycles, but also on the other side, we're gonna talk about ethical hacking and pen testing, and how we can cherish out of this, what we can make with a pen testing, with an ethical hacking, so that to protect and to prevent our infrastructure not to become vulnerable to some of the exploits and the attacks available nowadays there. Another components of our training, what we're gonna talk about is the wireless encryption. So we're gonna be focusing not only for the infrastructure, but for the wireless infrastructure as well. So we're gonna understand the different types of encryptions which we can use to protect our wireless communication. And on the other side, we're also gonna see what are the attacks attempting to bypass and to compromise our wireless communication. So we're gonna show you a lot of demonstrations and practice hands-on how you can actually bypass and compromise the Wi-Fi networks, how you can capture the encryption key and just brute force the password so that you can get inside of the network. And once inside, what you can do, you can change and modify the DNS settings. You can forward the innocent user to a phishing website, and then get all the personal data and create the debit card information from this user being on this phishing website, or deploy a malware on his computer, remote controlling it, and so on and so forth. So if we talk about the infrastructure, then the wireless communication, the third part, the usual attack vector as well, which the attackers are targeting, are the web applications. And together with the users, with the employees, the web applications are very vulnerable. And the reason is very obvious here once again, because the web applications are meant to be publicly available, right? So the web applications of companies are their websites, their platforms which they use to collaborate and work with their customers. And just because of that nature, the web applications are publicly available. So the hackers use these publicly available resources to start digging in and looking for vulnerabilities, because if this web application is vulnerable and if the hacker is able to jump in and compromise it, then he or she could most probably be able also to get an access to the other resources to the infrastructure and then compromise the entire infrastructure of the company. So we're going to talk also about the web server and web application, the different attacks, and going to explain the countermeasures which we can implement in order to protect those resources for us. We're going to talk about, up to here, we have covered the information security and network security. And with the last couple of topics, we're going to cover the so-called cyber forensics. So we're going to understand the foundations of incidents and incident handling and response processes. What does it take to understand that you're under attack, and what you should do if you are under attack? What kind of measures you should take in order to protect, but also to record legally well-protected evidence. So we're going to talk about the cybercrime and computer forensic investigation methodology, the different types of digital evidence and how we can examine them, where we can take them from. And saying this, it means that we will be talking about the two types of data, the volatile and non-volatile data and information, and how we can get them from network or Windows operating system resources. We're going to also talk about the steganography, which is another method of encrypting, of hiding data, but rather than just scrambling the letters, which is used by the cryptography, with the steganography, we are hiding a data, a message inside of another cover medium. So we're going to talk about all of these methods, and I'm going to show you how you can actually embed a secret message inside of another picture, or directly an archive inside of another picture, and just try basically to hide the valuable information for you. So we're going to talk about the different capturing tools, how we can capture the log files, how we can capture and record this valuable information, evidence or indicators of compromise, so that we can furthermore elaborate and investigate later on. And last but not the least, we're going to understand how we can also examine an email crime, email tracking and email crime investigations. So we're going to put the head on the top of this. We're going to understand how we can write a comprehensive reports, investigation reports, what we should include there, what kind of elements this report should have. So everything that what I have just explained, you can see it has been divided into 25 topics, part of this training module. So all of these topics, which we have just explained, are covered in these 25 modules within 5 days. It is an extensive course, I know, but bear in mind, once again, it's a foundation, so it's a starting point. So I know how exactly to present this information to you. But as you can see, the agenda, the class agenda is pretty comprehensive. So with having so much information out here, you have really a very, very good opportunity to jump into one of these directions of information and cybersecurity. So a couple of words about the exam. So the exam will be consisted of 50 questions. And throughout the course, we're going to practice with those questions, because I really want you guys to take certificates. So I'm going to practice with, and we're going to provide you with the questions very close to the officials, just because I've been collecting them from publicly available resources for the last couple of years. And also I can provide you with my own personally identified questions, so that really to better prepare you for taking this exam. So 50 questions, and the duration will be 2 hours. So you have to pass 50 questions in 2 hours, which makes little bit over 22 minutes per question, which is, in my understanding, pretty much enough for you guys to be answering correctly. And the passing rate is 50%. So it means that you have to just answer 40 something questions, and then you're good to go to take your certificate and to become a certified ECSS certified security specialist. Just to conclude and finalizing my presentation, I'm gonna say that information security really plays a vital role in the most organizations, because there's no organization nowadays which doesn't have a web application or any other resources publicly available or available through an internet communication. So indeed, there is a big demand, and which I have started with, for cybersecurity professionals. And if you can achieve certification in this field for this certificate, this really gives you a very good foundations of jumping into the career of information security specialist. So therefore, graduating this program can really provide you skills in these 3 different areas. So instead of jumping and getting 3 different courses for these 3 different areas, with this program, which we have identified suitable for you, you can get knowledge for all these 3 areas of information security, network security, and computer forensics. So we're here to help you out become part of the new area of information security professionals. Are you ready to join us? If yes, then I'm ready to answer your questions, and I'll be waiting for you guys to jump to this program. Thank you.
Who can make this course, Cybersecurity Fundamental?
Sure. Well, as I have already covered during the introduction of this course, there's no really need for any previous knowledge or experience, just because it is considered as fundamental. So it means that all we need is just your eagerness to become and to be part of information security professionals. So really, if you have any kind of networking or even developing or security operations centers experience, then it's as an advantage, but it's not obligation, it's not needed. So everybody, it's a starting point for entering the world of information and cybersecurity. So it's open for everybody who wants to join in.
Can you share the roadmap, how one cybersecurity professional develops? And after that, what are different types of cybersecurity professional roles?
So having in mind that this is, as I said, the starting point for a career in information and cybersecurity, this gives you a knowledge about information security, network security, and cyber forensics. So what are the different ways how you can move into the, your personal development and career development? If we talk about cyber forensics, what you can start going to is so-called the cyber forensic investigator, computer forensic investigator. Of course, a very good example of improvement of your career after this course will be to participate for the courses like CHFI, the Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator, which is a comprehensive and very detailed course, again 5 days per one business week, to give you a little bit more detailed and comprehensive skills how to do computer forensic investigations. But one of the fields, one of the lines which you can continue with your career is to become a computer forensic investigator. Those people are needed when a computer crime or an incident within a company has happened. So you will be the guy who will be investigating, or who will be basically controlling and monitoring all the activities, or managing all the activities behind this incident investigation, collecting of evidence, trying to find out what were the vulnerabilities which have been exploited by the hacker, and potentially to identify who has been the hacker. And this comprehensive report should be used either to be provided to law enforcement in order to start an official lawsuit, or also to use it internally to better prevent and protect your infrastructure. So computer forensic investigator is one of the field. On the other side, talking about network security, what you can make as a career development, you can become a network security engineer. So not just a network engineer, but network security engineer, because many times what we see is that network engineers, they do not really care, or even care is not the right word, but they do not really focus on security of this network. They just make the connections, they just make the establishment of the network, but doesn't really think about the security perspective out of it. So what you can make is a network security engineer to become such kind of position. So you will be establishing networks internally or business to business communication, but focusing on the security. And maybe the biggest kind of opportunities out there about the information security, what you can go after is a career in the field of information security. So you can become an ethical hacker, for instance. So hired by a company internally to provide this kind of penetration test for your infrastructure, to audit, to assess the posture of your company, or to become a penetration tester for a third-party company, which you can do provide this training and this service for your clients. Of course, another certification is quite really needed here in this field. So after this training, if you can also apply for the certified ethical hacker, is a plus. Amongst then the security analysts, what another area of investment would be to become a security operations center engineer, because this will also provide you, when we talk in this course about intrusion detection systems, firewall, intrusion prevention systems, CMs, and so on and so forth. This is really important for you also because you will have a knowledge for being a SOC engineer. So investigate and monitoring all these activities happening in your company. And last but not the least, in the field of governance, so the managerial part of the information security, something which I really am focusing on is becoming the CISO of a company. So the Chief Information Security Officer. This is the position which basically is mandated to be managing the entire information and cybersecurity within your company. So you are the master of information security within the company, and that's something what you can also apply for another certificate like CCSO or CCConsult, which really can provide you with furthermore knowledge on. So as you can see, it's a starting point, this training program. And after that, you can jump into these three different directions according to what are your wishes and feelings about your future improvements.
From which job roles can you suitably transition to cybersecurity?
Yeah, for sure. If you have any kind of jobs relation currently, if you are employed in networking team or being a developer, it's a very good also starting point, especially when we talk about penetration testing and web application security testing. So if you have been dealing with, if you have been involved in a networking, in a general IT, or developing, being a programmer, these are very suitable kind of starting point as a positions to jump into the information security field.
There's question about Devsecops. In the morning, we have session for DevOps. Of course, DevOps also has security specialization. The question is, what kind of knowledge should be applied for DevOps? This is cloud security, I guess.
Yeah, well, currently it's a new trend, Devsecops, and it's an extension of combining actually the development, the security of these developments, and providing an automation and within the operations. So basically to be kind of a full stack in terms of programming, but in the field of a particular project. So from the development to the implementation with the security components, and then doing this automation and fine-tuning of the operations. So what are the requirements in terms of DevSecOps? If you are a DevSecOps engineer currently, then you just need a little bit more fine tuning and furthermore knowledge to know how you can implement those security knowledge which you have in terms of cloud products, but just to shape you a little bit furthermore for the infrastructure security aspects. So it's not really enough. It's a very good starting point if you have this security thinking, because most of the developers, they just develop the product, they see that it's running, but sometimes most of the cases, usually they don't really know and be focusing on security. And if you have this security thinking, yeah, it's a very good starting point also if you are a DevSecOps engineer to jump into the field of information security.
How does a student have a chance to be a good cybersecurity specialist if he or she don't have more than basic knowledge of programming languages?
Well, programming languages is not a must requirement for joining and participating me in this training. And that's it. That's what I have started with. Actually, I am not a developer. Of course, I have a very basic understanding about PHP, HTML, JavaScript, but that's it. So I am pretending that I have a very successful career in the field of information security, but still, I don't know programming languages in such a comprehensive way. So this doesn't stop me. And there's not really requirements to be a good programmer to become an information security specialist.
What learning resources would you recommend until the course starts?
Yeah, well, everything what you can find in the internet is publicly available resources. Feel free to join it and just start exploring more and more in the field of information security, cyber forensics, and network security. Good resources might be different Facebook and LinkedIn groups I'm currently participating, where a lot of people are sharing knowledge and different books even. There are some publicly available platforms, educational platforms for free, where they have just a sample kind of trainings, and you can also use them to prepare better before starting the training. But throughout the training, believe me, I'll give you a lot of resources and training materials which we can use to really prepare you for the certification exam.
What about network security and hacking? Do you need to know hacking?
No, but I will make you happen to understand what is hacking and network security, and I'll give you the knowledge how you can guys execute and manage a penetration test and ethical hacking. It is part of the course. Of course, I want to be totally clear with you. Having in mind that we have 3 different fields and the fact that it's a fundamental course doesn't mean that I can provide you and deliver all the knowledge which I have with so many years of experience and so many certificates. So want to be transparent with you. If you join this training and if you achieve the certification, there will be a need to furthermore start be looking for other certifications like CH, like ECSS, and furthermore. So we're gonna just touch upon and just to give you an idea what is a penetration testing and what is ethical hacking, but we'll provide you with some knowledge about how you can execute it. But really, if you want to become a real professional about this, then furthermore certification will be needed.
How long will the course last?
It will be 5 days, 5 business days, or 40 hours in total. And because I see here all the questions about the dates and basically the agenda, it will be mentioned later on. Nikki and the team will prepare a detailed agenda, which course exactly when it will be delivered, so that you can guys make your agenda, your schedule, and choose the right one which you can join in. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, all the participants, all the attendees who joined me today and the team. It was a great pleasure, and I hope to see you soon part of the training.